Okay guys, this is your girl Dom, aka Serinitii Within, and we are here with another video. And I just wanted to show you how I do my U-part from scratch. So let's just get right into. So the first things that you are going to need is to make sure that your hair is braided. Don't mind the way that my braids look. These nails was too long. This was the only grip that I can get. But you're going to need a dome cap. You're going to need some needles. You're going to need like a pencil or marker to trace over the dome cap, some hair, and some thread. So we're going to put this dome cap on. I like to put it with the stitching with it like this, opposed to the stitching that meets towards the middle. It's hard for me to explain that. And then now, once I braid all my hair, I'm going to outline where my leave out is. This is going to help me be able to sew the tracks onto the dome cap, and it just makes it easier for me to know exactly where I want to lay all of my tracks. So this is just like a cheat code right now to figuring out how we are going to lay each track down. So you want to make sure you get from your leave out to the perimeter of the braids all the way to the back.
Got me feeling like a young boy, yeah. Got me feeling like a young boy.
And this is just a friendly reminder to make sure you know that the tighter you pull your dome cap, the tighter it would be once it's completely sewn and cut onto your head. But you also don't want for it to be too loose, because you don't want for the dome cap to just be too domey on your head. It's going to be very weird. So I did put like a second little layer on the outline, because that's where I'm going to have like a small piece where I am actually going to sew it onto my head. I'll show you and explain to you why I did that, but it's gonna make no sense right now. So now that I have it completely traced out, I am going to put it onto my mannequin head, and I want to stretch it out because I want to make sure that it's going to fit right, and I'm putting the tracks down and laying it down right. These pins are going to come in handy when you are doing this, because a lot of sewing is going to move the dome cap. So what I'm going to do is retrace everything to make sure I got the lines nice and dark enough, and to make sure everything makes sense, because sometimes sewing over time can just disappear with the highlighter pencil thingy majiggy. So now at this time, I'm just going to thread all of the needles, and I got probably like 6 needles. The more needles you have, the faster you can actually finish sewing.
Body look like music. She know how to use it, yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can explain this right. So whenever I start doing any sewing, I like to go in with double wefts. Once I go in with my double wefts, I won't line both the wefts up together. I will have one a little bit behind the weft, the first weft. So that way, just like that, it would be one just like that. So that is easier and it lays flatter when I'm actually sewing it, whether it's on my head, someone else's head, or even onto a dome cap. I just found that works for me. Doesn't mean that's the way to do it, but that's what works for me. So I will necessarily do this with every single track that I lay down. Yes, I do this. So then after I go in with that, I'm just going to start sewing it onto the dome cap, and I'm going to start with the first track directly onto the line. And then what I'm going to make sure that I do with the first track is to make sure I'm sewing straight through the weft. I'm not just going to overloop the weft. I'm going to sew straight through the weft, because just in case I want to do like a ponytail method, I can flip the weft up and it'll be smoother and easier for me to actually wear my hair into a ponytail. So I'm gonna just keep doing this method until I'm completely finished with sewing all of the hair, and then I'll be back.
I see you in my mind, and I know I can't touch. I don't wanna hit you up. See your name up on my line. I know it's gonna be some time before I hit you up, yeah. Don't know what I'm doing, but I need your touch, yeah. Like you pursuing me.
Now with the wefts moving forward really quickly, I don't have to sew them straight through the weft. I could just do like the loop right around it, because it doesn't matter. So then next, I completely finished everything, but I just wanted for it to be a little bit thicker, so I'm adding more hair in between the track. This is completely optional. You can do this if you want to.
Making me feel like I don't need to blush with it. Body look like music. She know how to use it, yeah. I wanna know how you do it.
I just love a good stitching. Like, it just makes or breaks the sew-in. So now that I'm completely finished, now it's time to just press everything out. So I am going to do that on my head. So we're just going to take all of these little pins out, and we're just going to place this on my head. I know she looks weird right now, and we're like, girl, you got more hair that you could have put some. No, trust me, it's going to be okay. So I just want to make sure I line this up completely how I drew it out in the first place, because that's what's going to make a break, to make sure that it's going to lay in place exactly where it needs to. That was the whole point of having those lines on there. So we are almost at the finish line, but we have to do this part. So now we just have to sew down the actual dome onto our hair. I always start in the center because it's so much easier for me to have more control where I'm sewing and how the dome is going to move or anything like that. It will move less once it's in the center. If you start from the left or the right side, it's going to move toward the side that you're sewing it on, and then it's pulling from the other side. So I find it easier to do it from the center, because once you start sewing to the left or to the right, it's not going to move. It's stuck in place. So when I do my sewings, I also like to do section by section. So I'll start in the middle, then go towards either the right or the left, and then I will stop at the top and go to the other side. And then once I do that, then I'm gonna go to the sides where I first started. So it's just basically making sure that the dome cap is not moving so much and keeping everything in place and being cohesive. That's the best thing when doing this right here, and it's just all about the patience at this point. I know we're almost close to being finished. We can't wait to take this thing off to see how it comes out. Just have patience, okay? So we're gonna just keep sewing down. We're gonna go from side to side, and then I'll be back. So what I'm about to say right now is for us girls who are not well experienced in doing this, but for those who are, you could just, you know, just say yes. So for those who aren't quite sure what I'm doing or where I'm sewing, I'm basically sewing the perimeter of the braid. So it's basically the foundation of the braid. So you can also sew in between each braid just to make sure that all the security, that it's not going to move. Trust me, it's not going to move whether you do that or not, but you definitely want to make sure that you're sewing down to the perimeter of the braids. That's what's going to help and make sure it stay there. That's the whole purpose of that. But that's just in case if you don't know. If you do know, then girl, you good.
I'm in love with you, can't get enough. Every thought I have for us. Girl, you really got me curious. Yeah, that's why I can't hit you up. Yeah, don't know what I'm doing, but I need your touch. Yeah, like you pursuing me, 'cause I need that love. Yeah, feels good to a young boy. Got me feeling like a young boy. Yeah. Got me feeling like a young boy. I wanna know how you do it, yeah. Making me feel like I don't need to blush with it. Body look like music. She know how to use it, yeah. I wanna know how you do it. Making me feel like I don't need to blush with it.
First off, who told me to be chewing this gum like I'm crazy? But anyway, so now it's time to cut the dome piece off, and I'm so excited about this part. But this is when you're going to feel the tension. This part right here, because everything seems fine and dandy, but once all of that dome come off, it's gonna feel really tight. So just depends on how tight you had it onto the mannequin. That's how tight it's about to be right now. So I'm just letting you know. So I'm just gonna make sure that I am completely cutting this off carefully, because you want to make sure, one, you're not cutting your hair, two, you're not cutting the thread, and then three, you want to make sure you're not leaving out too much of the dome.
tempo, and I want you next to me. I've been getting lit too much. Yeah. I just need a drink till I see you in my mind, and I know I can't touch. I don't wanna hit you up. See your name up on my line. I know it's gonna be some time before I hit you up. Yeah. Don't know what I'm doing, but I need your touch. Yeah.
Okay, so remember that part I was talking about in the beginning of this video? I would just show you later, so this is the later. So normally I would just do this with the dome cap. I won't even add an extra piece of track on here. I'll leave it alone, but I was just playing in some hair and I just wanted to try something a little bit different. So this part is completely optional. You don't have to add another track, because if you outlined your hair correctly, you won't have to add this. This was me doing purposely. So I wanted to see how flatter could I get the top, because sometimes with the dome, with the first layer, it could be a little lifty. It depends on how you lay that track down. So I was just going to see, was this a better process for me to do? And it was, but then I also wanted to make sure that my edges had a little piece extra of the weft hair, the sewing hair, so that way I was going to glue a little piece of the track down and directly in the front. That was the only reason why I really did this, because I just wanted to try something a little bit different, but you don't have to do this. Now, if you have completely long hair, you don't necessarily have to do this whatsoever, but this was the main purpose of me actually trying just to see if it would look better, because you know, around my hairline, my hair is a little bit finer, and I just wanted to make sure that I had something that was going to bring a little bit more hair to my face. And this actually, it did that. It did exactly what I wanted for it to do. But would I do this again? No, because I sweat a lot and the glue will lift, especially if I'm working out and stuff like that. It's just unnecessary. But if you have like a good length in the front of your hair, avoid doing this. You don't necessarily have to do this. And looking at my hair, like my hair was growing, like it was so growing, and I just recently damaged it. So I'm seeing all of that front hair that I had. It's just like, it's so done now. I can't even cut my hair. But anyway, so now it's time to make sure that we treating our hair. I should have pressed it out before I actually put this dome cap on, but yada yada yada. So now let's press out the perimeter of our hair, and then we are going to actually press out the actual hair, and then I'll be back.
Girl, both from different places, and it's hard to stay on beat, but we're moving right at the same tempo, and I want you next to me. Girl, both from different places, and it's hard to stay on beat, but we're moving right at the same tempo. Too much. Yeah. I just need a drink till I see you in my mind, and I know I can't touch. I don't wanna hit you up. See your name.
Alright guys, so this is basically the hairstyle. Now it's just little final touches that you can do. If you wanted to do like baby hairs and all of that extra jazz, you can do that, but this is literally the final look. It was fun. This style probably lasts me 2 weeks, honestly. And I just found this video. I did this months ago. It was in my drafts, okay? I said I needed some content, and boom, there we go. So you could play with this. You can put this into a ponytail. You can put it behind your ears. You can do a lot with this, and you can also versatile this. It all depends on how you sew it down onto the dome cap. If you want to see how I do that, I will do another video showing you how to do a versatile onto the dome cap. And this is me putting my own U-Part together from scratch, and this is the end game. This is how it looks. And guys, thank you so much for coming to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for coming. If you're turning Serinitii with the infinite member, hey girl, hey, thank you for coming back. And guys, I will see you in my next video. God bless you.
Every thought I have for us. Girl, you really got me curious. Yeah, that's why I can't get you you up, yeah. Don't know what I'm doing, but I need your touch, yeah. Like you pursuing me, cause I need that love, yeah. Feels good to a young boy. Got me feeling like a young boy, yeah. Got me feeling like a young boy. I wanna know how you do it, yeah. Making me feel like I